Inside the dojo, Motoba is saying, Hanmabaki never fails to impress. That's about as real combat can get. In other words, your dojo, Motoba-sensei. I'm not so sure about that. As far as honest dedication to real combat goes, I'd say the martial arts world, myself included, has no real sense of what it means. Take this for example. We rarely wear Japanese-style clothing nowadays. And yet, martial arts attire has remained Japanese-styled clothing all the same. That's true. The pursuit of efficacy must be foremost. Building character ought to be a mere secondary concern. Though the martial ways specifically serve the public as a form of exercise, those are always ways, such as judo, kendo, and aikido. You don't need to learn how to kill if character betterment is what you're after. Why not sit there staring at a wall and meditate? Surely that would be better. The interval of combat effectiveness and character betterment have nothing to do with one another. Hurting people improves your character? Bullshiz. Director Doppo would have enjoyed hearing that. Irachi Doppo and Shibikawa Goki. Neither of those two titans teaches a way. And nor do you, Motoba-sensei. When we speak of a craving for strength, there is one individual who stands above all others. The ogre. Hanmabaki. Those two don't crave for it. I'm talking about the one man who craves so strongly. It's enough to make him weep. Jack Hanma. The man most starved for strength of anyone on this earth. We now move on inside Takugawa's mansion. We can see Jack Hanma training his jaw, then doing some calisthenics, and taking some natural creatine monohydrate after his workout. With a little bit of medicine, of course. We now move on inside Motoba's dojo. He is saying, all those performative martial arts are the same in that respect. They're all about appearances. A far cry from any kind of real combat. What they teach is an aesthetic of completely unrealistic forms. The ridiculous sort of stuff that tends to crop up in historical dramas. How it looks is everything to them. But Goto, his way of biting, chomp, gives me shivers. You look at karate, you'll see its techniques are often about working toward submission. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu's objective is the chokehold. But Jack's only goal is to sink his teeth into you. As if he were a wild beast. What we think of as the last resort of the weak. He has instead declared to be the greatest weapon. Without even the slightest hint of shame. Not caring for how he looks is definitely an advantage for Jack. Hanmabaki. The ogre. Irachi Doppo. Katsumi. Shibikawa Goki. Baki, as well as all of his peers. Every one of them thinks he's above it all. I can finish my own sentences. But I'm right, am I not? They're about to discover something they never would have considered picking up. And it's one hell of a weapon. We now move on somewhere in Tokyo. A man is saying. Apparently, sometimes you can see foxes and tanuki around here. Really? Here in the middle of the city? Oh, it's cause people get them as pets and then let them go in the park. I think that's so irresponsible. Then suddenly, the prehistoric man appears. He's holding a fox and a tanuki. Then Pickle smiled at them. Walking past a couple. Then leaving peacefully. Was that guy from the Jomon period? By the look of him, I think he might be much older. I get the feeling we won't be seeing foxes or tanuki around here too much anymore. We now move on inside Takugawa's mansion. He is saying. What the? The hunter at the heart of Tokyo? Indeed. He's been at it for some time now, hasn't he? Living and hunting in the city, that is. He is a hunter who has completely adapted to the city environment. But just how long can a man live like that? Hunting on his own. Tokyo may be a modern city, but it still has its rivers and forests. In other words, there's no shortage of life. Of course, we mustn't forget. Pickle also happens to be the mightiest hunter in our planet's history. He is the only being ever to regularly feast on Tyrannosaurus Rex. Why, I suppose you're right. We now move on in a river in Japan. We can see Pickle catching a duck. A passerby happened to witness this. a restaurant manager, Matsunaga Tomafumi. Twice in his life now had he encountered these people. Then Pickle smiled at him. He then said, "No, but I was absolutely convinced he was gonna eat me. No, I'm dead serious." That bizarre fantasy was my second time dealing with this. But honestly, I think something is definitely going on. Know what I mean? There's something happening on a global scale. There can't not be, right? We now go back inside Motoba's dojo. He is saying. And there's the matter of the purity of your intentions toward the battle. And when it comes to purity, you can take any person in the world. And it's still no mean feat to overtake Jack. So, any person in the world you say. What about Pickle? He does count as part of humanity. But he's a special case. Somewhere in Tokyo, he was walking. The giant. He walked with a deep slouch. But even still, he stood around 1 or 2 heads above the rest of the crowd. Barefoot. And despite the summer weather, wore a thick coat. A giant drifter. But when one focused their eyes, the ruggedness of his skin which became apparent was very unlike that of a typical homeless man's. Then suddenly, Pickle grabbed the birds in the street. Then eating it without hesitation. The crowd is saying, "Oh my god. Is he eating them?" He's eating 3 birds at once. He ate them whole too. Something's got his attention. Huh? No way. The juice from the trash? For real? You. But Pickle didn't mind. He drank every drop of it. Ugh. Is he gonna be okay? Then Pickle just walks away. But he was confronted by Jack, Hanma and Takegawa. So, what do you think of this whole arc? Do you think Jack Hanma can now take on Pickle? Comment down your opinion below. Special thanks to my patron. A Patreon of the Aughts, Jacket, Isam Harris, Awesome Swayceable, Gerald Martinez, Carrot, Imran Bra, Stephen, Eduardo Molina, Baylors, Jarvis James Amu, Juan, The Broken Monarch, Sam Shires, Xander Claus, Lamonta Denson, Aaron Wieland, Valente Jr. Villegas, James Barry, Evan Edrock, Vel, Caleb, Shade Jackson, Kaiser Roche, Buffology, Momo, I Meet Rabbit, Big Samzilla, Spike and Damo, Midas, Luke Warmvoss, Sander, Kevin Arias, Jason Jacobs, Mikey Selfrez, Cool X-Ray Gun, Travis, Alec Morin, Just Danzo, Joshua Ash, Dwight Rigby, and Jaden Robinson. We really appreciate your help. If you want to support my channel, please subscribe to my Patreon, LR Shion. I will put a link in the description below.